Hello, this is Sam I Am from the Dinar Douchebags blog. I wanted to take just a few minutes to fill you in on what the blog's purpose is and a few things that I've covered over the past 7 months. I started the blog back in September of 2011 after discovering that I had bought millions of dinar that was more than likely never going to generate any profits for me, let alone make me a millionaire. When I bought dinar, I was going by some of the things I was reading in dinar forums and hearing from other investors. After 100 or so failed predictions and countless bank rumors and nonsensical claims, I decided to get off my backside and do my own research rather than relying on the expertise of clueless gurus. It was then that I discovered how revaluations and redenominations really work, and that the Kuwaiti RV scenario never happened as pumpers portray it. The more I learned, the more I understood why so many people are calling this investment a scam. Simply put, it's because most of what people say about the dinar to promote the sales of dinar and dinar products is baseless or a distortion of facts. Things like Bush said the war would pay for itself. There's no evidence that Bush ever said such a thing. Then there's the line about the dinar is a stock in a company called Iraq, and as Iraq prospers, your stock will go up in value, which is utter nonsense when you understand how currencies work. The purpose of owning stock is to have it increase in value, as the company uses the money from the sale of the stock for operational capital. The purpose of money is quite different. It is a means of exchange for goods and services. There is no expected return on owning currency. In fact, many countries prefer to keep their currency's value quite low, and no country wants their currency's value increasing rapidly, as that would promote instability in their economy. I could list dozens of similar examples of misinformation in dinar forums that we've come to know as forum facts, but I think you get the idea. I said to myself one day, why doesn't somebody do something about this? Have you ever said something like that? In my case, a little voice in my head said, why don't you? So I did. At first I just wrote about what I had already learned. But then I started learning more about this dinar and the pumpers. Then people started reading the blog and sending me their information. And before I knew it, I had a real live blog that people were reading. Awesome! Here's some of what I've written about. First, I listed a number of the most prominent pumpers and what information is readily available about them in a post called The Pumpers. This was the second post I did on the blog, and it is by far the most popular post I've ever done. Secondly, when Roger Dorman from Dinar Daddy was caught trying to interview his wife as the owner of Treasury Vault as though she was merely a business associate, some members of Dinar Vets figured out what he was doing and called him on it. He quickly went into damage control mode, but the damage was already done, and even though I wasn't part of the uncovering of this information, I was more than happy to report on it in Dinar Daddy and in Treasury Vault. Third, after a month or so of searching, I discovered the true identity of Tony Breitling in Breitling Busted back in October, and displayed a screenshot from his Facebook page showing Roger and Angela Dorman from Dinar Daddy and the Treasury Vault as his friends. The purpose for revealing his true identity was to show the close association that he has with Roger and Angela, who sell the lower dinars that Breitling is pumping by misleading people into thinking that the lower denominations will protect you against the lop. I also provided a link to his Twitter page, which disappeared shortly thereafter. I went on to reveal a couple of years' worth of Tony's nonsense in the Breitling catalog, listing the claims that he has made about himself and his contacts while also exposing a long list of bad intel and flawed analysis. And fourth, I did a 3-part series called The Montana Trail, where I looked into the history of Adam Montana from Dinar Vets and Dinar speculation, and then proceeded to follow up on clues I discovered to eventually expose him as the fraud named James Wolfe.